and fight from the episode of Boxing News today. We're going to focus on women's boxing, actually, because I was disappointed with the lack of attention that Avril Mathie was getting in her fight coming up with Ramla Ali on the weekend on the undercard of the Amanda Serrano fight and others. Let's go over that particular fight. Because it is creating quite a stir in the boxing world, as it should. The women are doing great. Whereas in the men's side of things, just take a look at how confusing the men's side is. You got 17 weight classes in men's boxing, excluding the Bridgerweight division, by the way. And not really sure if that's going to continue. But anyway, and there's only three currently fighters. There's only three fighters who hold all four of the major alphabet belts, the WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO belts in their respective divisions: Devin Haney, Jermell Charlo, and Saul Alvarez. So on the women's side of things, you've got the women's boxing, as you know, has 15 widely recognized weight classes ranging from 102 pounds atom weight to 168 pounds in super middleweight division. And there are occasionally fights contested for titles above that, but the talent is pretty thin. 5 of those divisions, says, by the way, I'm just quoting here from one of my friends over at boxingscene.com. He says 5 of those divisions have undisputed queens. Franchon Crews-Dezurn at 168, Clarissa Shields at 160, Jessica McCaskill at 147, Chantel Cameron at 140, and Katie Taylor at 135. And this upcoming fight, as I said, that I mentioned, the Amanda Serrano fight against Erica Cruz. Barring a draw, the featherweight and junior lightweight will swell the number of undisputed champions in 7 and 15 weight classes. And they're partially unified titleists like Natasha Jonas, Jessica Neri Plata, and Yokasta Valley. So coming off what could be easily as the best year in women's boxing history in the ring and at the box office, the fights this particular weekend at Madison Square Garden lean into why the long-struggling women's side of the sport seems to be growing. Bottom line, they're fighting the fights, he says. While women's boxing isn't knocking on the sort of big dollar doors that men's boxing has at the highest levels, we're a far cry from the inconsistent ability to even get TV coverage we've seen in the years since Christy Martin hit the cover. That's happened twice in a row. Sorry about that, sports fans. All right. The 34-year-old Serrano, Puerto Rican born and calling Brooklyn home, will headline this weekend at the Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden. The WBC, IBF, IBO, and WBO featherweight titleists will face Mexico's 32-year-old WBA titleist Erica Cruz-Hernandez, 15-1, by the way. Serrano has won titles in every weight class from 115 to 140 pounds, but never been undisputed. Hernandez is the obstacle in her path, and lo and behold, they're going to be going at it toe-to-toe, as I said, this upcoming weekend. On the undercard at junior lightweight, 28-year-old Alycia Baumgardner, 13-1, 7 knockouts, out of Detroit, will carry her WBC, IBF, IBO, and WBO titles in the defense against France's 31-year-old Elhem Mekhaled, 15-1 with 3 knockouts. The vacant WBA strap will also be on the line, meaning the winner leaves with all the marbles. It's not just the belt collection that's appealing, continues this author. Not every undisputed fight is particularly interesting before or during the fight. It's a clash we're seeing between these top talents as well in the women's division. Serrano's failed challenge of Taylor last year at lightweight made for a genuine super fight. Shields, who also has a lineal claim at junior middleweight, holds a win over Crews-Dezurn. Taylor has a win over unified junior middleweight titleist Jonas. Before Baumgardner won a unification clash with Michaela Mayer last year, she won her first belt with a knockout of Terry Harper. Harper has since won a belt at junior middleweight, and she and Jonas fought a few years ago to a draw at junior lightweight. Cameron defended her junior welterweight titles and added 2 more vacant titles in the Clash of Champions with McCaskill late last year. This, he says, is a model for the sort of competition boxing fans say they want to see, and it's got to be a part of why respect for women's boxing around the world is up. While the depth in any of the women's divisions still lags well behind the men's counterparts, the top talents are putting their best fit forward, and there's no sign of it stopping. This weekend could be a stage for possibilities like Serrano versus Taylor 2, Serrano versus Baumgardner, or new forces emerging in Hernandez and Mekhalat. In boxing, almost as important as getting the right big fights is having the next fight to look forward to and thinking they're at least a better chance we'll see it. Saturday is a card that fulfills that notion. Now, as I said, is written by Cliff Rold over at Boxing Scene, and he happens to be the managing editor of that particular online publication. Good stuff. Just to fill you in here, we got Amanda Serrano, record of 43, 2-1, 30 knockouts. Will face Erica Cruz, 15-1, 3 knockouts. Okay, as I said, Puerto Rico versus Mexico, battle for the undisputed women's featherweight championship, as well as Alycia Baumgardner, 13-1, 7 knockouts, who's taking on Elham Mekhaled, 15-1, 3 knockouts for the undisputed world super featherweight championship, which I've just described. It's all taking place in New York City on February 4th, upcoming in a couple of days, to be shown on DAZN. Okay, but the undercard is where it gets interesting for me. Because not only are you going to see fellows like Richardson Hudson's and Joan Boisa, Rishad Mati, and Cleta Celine, but you also get to see Sky Nicholson take on Tanya Alvarez for the female featherweight championship. And here comes Ramla Ali taking on Avril Mathie for the female super bantamweight. And rounding out the undercard, you got Aaron Aponte versus Joshua David Rivers and Harley Maduras taking on Julio Madera. Great stuff. Now, let's take a quick little backtrack here to my favorite, Avril Mathie. She's actually, after this fight, looking forward to taking on another Aussie. Now, Avril Mathie currently lives in Miami. And to be blunt, she's a beauty queen. And she's quite glamorous. You see, just Google her. You'll see a lot of pictures of her in a bikini. But she wants to take on the world champion, a blonde bomber, as soon as she's recovered from her hand injury. And she wants that to be, an all Aussie battle of the OnlyFans fighters, something I've not seen before. Avril has a lot in common with boxing world champion Ebony Bridges. They're both glamorous Aussies who have forged careers in the ring and on OnlyFans. And if Avril gets her wish, she'll soon fight the blonde bomber. She's originally from Sydney and has rung up 8 victories and 1 draw. So she's undefeated in a professional career and now has her sights set on Bridges. That's if she can get by Ramla Ali. And Bridges won the IBF featherweight title back in March of 2022 and defended it in a grudge match against Aussie Shannon O'Connell last December. But in the process, I think broke her hand. I think that's the injury she's suffering from. Mathie said, "I think Ebony is very intelligent, and I'll take my hat off to her. This will be a killer fight, though. I'm really excited for it. She brings it and likes to come forward, and I never really take a step back. But I can bang and come forward. I think there'll be fireworks." Yes, Bridges is actually recovering from surgery to repair her right hand, which she says she broke before her war with O'Connell. She had to have a bone taken from her hip to complete the job due to severity of the injury. Wow, it'd be interesting to see if she can even come back into the ring. Anyway, and if she does, she looks forward to fighting with Avril Mathie. Avril Mathie started boxing back in 2012, racking up 20 amateur bouts before turning professional back in December 2017. In addition to her Miss Swimsuit USA International win, she also took out the Las Vegas International Model Search Competition in December of 2015. Anyway, hats off for for lack of a better description, a supermodel entering the ring and going at it toe-to-toe this upcoming weekend against Ramla Ali, who, by the way, is promoted by Matchroom. So if anything, I think Avril will catch the eye of several other promoters who might want to enhance their female rosters. Speaking of female rosters, let's take a look at Savannah Marshall, who says she could challenge Franchon Crews-Dezurn for the undisputed super middleweight title next. Marshall wants to go straight back into a title fight, and Crews-Dezurn, the undisputed WBC, WBO, WBA, and IBF super middleweight world champion, is the obvious fight to make, she says, which is agreed. Promoter Ben Shalom says he reveals that could happen in the first half of 2023. So the female division is definitely heating up, and there seems to be a lot of backing from the various promoters, and they are certainly doing a great job of promoting them on the big stage. Speaking of the big stage, Cecilia Braekhus, one of the legends of female boxing, she says, Natasha Jonas is amazing inside and outside the ring, but I believe 100% I'd beat her. And Cecilia Braekhus says she wants a shot at Natasha Jonas and her 3 world titles. Braekhus wants to fight in the UK too. They're at the forefront right now with such amazing role models. Nobody could carry this better than they are. Cecilia Braekhus, by the way, is inspired by Natasha Jonas, but still wants to fight her. Norway's Braekhus had been a trailblazer in the sport. Her undefeated run spanned 36 fights and more than 13 years. Between 2014 and 2020, she reigned as the undisputed welterweight champion, winning all 4 of the major world titles and defending them 10 times. She first became a unified champion back in 2009. Wow. And is a veteran of 28 world title fights, of which she only lost 2. She might be 41 years old, but moving up in weight, she is targeting the 38-year-old Jonas as her route back to the top. Let's just cut straight to it. I want a title fight, Braekhus told Sky Sports. Both Natasha and Terry Harper are on the top of my list. They both went up to 154, which is my natural weight division now. Natasha Jonas, ever since she became a professional, I've been a big fan of hers, but I'd love to fight for her belts. Well, sports fans, thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate it very much. Sorry for the lack of intro there, which normally pops up. But I'm actually doing this solo today. So anyway, remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you tomorrow for more boxing news headlines. Thank you.